any of the public infrastructure that's going to be taken over by the township.
So if the township decides, to approve this, the condition would be they'd have to submit, they'd have to submit the appropriate performance bond.
Sure.
Based upon calculations to what the improvements would be.
Right, based upon an engineer's cost estimate.
And do we have that yet?
No, we do not. So that's a procedural item. 242.33, excuse me, is the second item. Execution of a developer's agreement is required. That's fairly straightforward.
And that's my, I'll have to get that figured out.
Correct. The subdivision ordinance requires concrete monuments to be set at lines and angles to a new subdivision plan. So that's comment 242.60. The next comment on the list deals with floodplains. As we know, at the bottom of this hill there is a tributary to Peters Creek, and FEMA has established flood zone A for that area, dealing with flood insurance. So I'm suggesting that a subdivision of this nature, where we're going to create new residential lots, we should be showing the extent of the floodplain on this drawing as it relates to this new lot layout, to confirm that none of those lots are within the flood. 242.70 A2. This is a comment dealing with the street layout. Our ordinance is pretty clear. When you have a new subdivision which establishes more than 40 lots, the street layout is to be such that there's two vehicular points of access to public roads, or what's defined as an arterial and collector street in the ordinance. So they do, if you're looking at the drawings, you can see they do have a Sands Lane abuts, the cul-de-sac for Sands Lane abuts the property owned by Abel. So they do have a connection point there to continue into ground which could be developed in the future. However, there are not two points of vehicular access to streets. Item 242.70F is dealing with temporary turnarounds. We've run into this a couple times so far this year in our township, particularly Hobbit Lane and Tuscany Estates. But if you look up at Sunset Lane, adjacent to lot 156 and 157, there's a dead end there with no temporary turnaround shown before that future phase. Our ordinance is pretty clear that if you're going to end a public street as part of a phase, you need to put a temporary turnaround there. As we know, that's jumped up and bit us so far this year. So I'm suggesting that we should be having a temporary turnaround shown there, so that whoever is occupying lot 156 there, they're not dealing with dead end street. Anybody have any questions at this point? I can pause quickly. All right, 242.71. This is a bit of an interesting one. 242.71 deals with the number of lots which can front on a private street. As we've talked about at length, Walter Long Road is a private street. There are numerous lots which front on it already. There are two open space lots as part of this plan of lots that are proposed to be added to the frontage of Walter Long Road. So I believe the overall intent of this plan is to ultimately turn Walter Long Road over to the township. So if that proceeds as planned, maybe this comment resolves itself, but as it presently stands, there is some concern about the number of lots fronting on a private street as part of the plan. Okay, 242.73 deals with easements. number of concerns regarding easements. I'll start with sub-item A, which is the 20-foot access and utility easement, which on the drawings starts at the bottom of Sands Lane near the Lasanti Pool House access there. This easement is shown to be vacated as part of this plan. This is the easement, which is the tower access going up the hill there to the communications tower at the top of the hill. So I'm noting in our letter here that, you know, the township should be requesting a termination agreement between KDH has it labeled as Unison Site Management LLC as the folks who own that tower easement based upon the instrument number that's been recorded. So if that easement's going to be vacated, I think they should be proving to us that they agree to it before we are comfortable with vacating that private easement. Item B on this list